So these are folds of skin within which a margin of muscles are enclosed. Anterior axillary fold, it covers the lateral edge of pectoralis major muscle. Here you can see this red wall, red colored one is the anterior wall of the axilla. Okay, this orange one, this green one is the medial wall, and this orange or yellow one is the posterior wall, and this violet one is the lateral wall of the axilla. So axilla has 4 walls, and here where it is connected to the neck, this part is known as cervicoaxillary canal. This forms the apex of the axilla, and here this is forming the base of the axilla. Okay, so axillary folds, this these are the folds of skin within which a margin of muscles are enclosed. Anterior axillary folds, it covers the lateral edge of pectoralis major. Here, lateral edge of pectoralis major is forming the anterior axillary fold. And posterior axillary fold, it covers the latissimus dorsi and teres major muscle. Here will be the posterior axillary fold formed by the latissimus dorsi and teres major. These are important for your viva and OSPI questions. Okay, these muscles you have to identify in the anterior and posterior axillary folds. An axillary pit lies between these two folds. You can hear everyone? So, what are the boundaries of the axilla? It is a pyramidal shaped space. It has a apex directed upward and medially. Base is directed downward, and it has 4 walls: anterior, posterior, medial and lateral wall. Okay, no talk. See here, this is a transverse section through the axilla. Okay, here you can see this is pectoralis major, this is pectoralis minor. These are forming the anterior wall of the axilla. Here subscapularis lying in the subscapular fossa of the scapula. This is forming the posterior wall of the axilla. Okay, and some part is formed by this teres major and latissimus dorsi, posterior wall. And here this is the medial wall. Medial wall is formed by the ribs, intercostal spaces and serratus anterior muscle. Okay, serratus anterior is forming the medial wall, and lateral wall is very narrow. These are the 4 walls of the axilla: anterior wall, posterior wall, medial wall and lateral wall. Lateral wall is formed by the intertubercular sulcus. Okay. So, we will discuss the individual boundaries in details. First, we will go to the apex of the axilla. Apex is known as cervicoaxillary canal. It is directed upward, medially and towards the root of the neck, and it gives passage for the structures from the neck to the axilla and back. Hence, it is called the cervicoaxillary canal. Cervico means neck, axillary means it is coming to the axilla. Okay, from neck to axilla, the neurovascular bundle is entering through the apex of the axilla. So, this is forming the apex of the axilla. See the boundaries, it is bounded medially by the outer border of the first rib, posteriorly by the superior border of the scapula and anteriorly by the posterior surface of the clavicle. Okay, so these are the boundaries of the apex of the axilla or cervicoaxillary canal. This is sometimes asked in your OSPI question, what is cervicoaxillary canal? Okay, and its boundaries, it is important. And it is blunt and truncated. Apex means we imagine apex as a pointed tip, but here apex is blunted, okay, or truncated. There is a canal in the apex. So, apex is known as cervicoaxillary canal. Boundaries of the apex, it is a triangular passage. This is triangular passage bounded anteriorly by the posterior surface of middle third of the clavicle. Here, posterior surface of middle third of the clavicle. Posterior boundary is by the superior border of scapula. The clavicle. Here is the anterior boundary of the cervicoaxillary canal. Posterior boundary, it is formed by the superior border of scapula. Here you can see the superior border of the scapula, and medial boundary is formed by the outer border of the first rib. So this is the boundary of the cervicoaxillary canal. Okay. So apex we have discussed. Next we go to the base or floor of the axilla. So base is directed downward. Okay, it is dome shaped and it is formed by skin and axillary fossa. It is dome shaped with convexity directed upward and extends from the anterior to the posterior axillary fold. So here is the anterior axillary fold, here is posterior axillary fold. So this base extends from anterior to the posterior axillary fold and forming a dome shaped structure. And here beneath the skin lies this deep fossa. This deep fossa is known as the axillary fossa. Okay. We have removed this base, okay, to identify the different structures in the different walls in our dissected cadaver. So next we go to the anterior wall. It is formed by superficial to deep. Here, this is forming the anterior wall. Superficial to deep is the pectoralis major muscle, clavipectoral fossa, pectoralis minor muscle, okay, and this is the suspensory ligament of the axilla. All these are lying in the anterior wall of the axilla, and also the subclavius muscle here. Okay, so these are together forming the anterior wall. Pectoralis major, subclavius, clavipectoral fossa, pectoralis minor, and suspensory ligament of the axilla. Next we go to the posterior wall. Posterior wall, it is formed by the subscapularis. Don't talk. কতবার বলতে হবে? ক্লাস করতে ইচ্ছে না হয় বাইরে বেরিয়ে যাবি চুপচাপ, ক্লাসে ডিস্টার্ব করবি না। Posterior wall, it is formed by the subscapularis. Here you can see the subscapular fossa. So posterior wall is formed by subscapularis muscle and teres major and minor muscle. Here you can see the teres major, and this is latissimus dorsi. Okay, latissimus dorsi, teres major and subscapularis together forming the posterior wall of the axilla. Here you can see this is yellow colored one is the posterior wall formed by the subscapularis, teres major, latissimus dorsi. Okay. Next we go to the medial wall. Here this green colored one is the medial wall of the axilla. It is convex laterally and formed by upper four ribs and their intercostal muscles. Here you can see the ribs, and in between the ribs are the intercostal spaces where the intercostal muscles are lying, and upper 4 to 5 digitations of the serratus anterior muscle. See here, this is medial wall formed by the ribs, intercostal spaces with intercostal muscles and serratus anterior muscle. Okay. Whatever. Which one? Which structure you were asking? This is section of humerus. Humerus. This is section of scapula. This is section of humerus. This is section of one rib. Okay. So this is medial wall formed by the serratus anterior. Okay. And other structures we have discussed. Upper 4 to 5 digitations of the serratus anterior muscle. The previous picture was transverse section, like this you are cutting, okay, transverse section through the axilla. Next we go to the lateral wall. It is the narrowest wall. Okay, here is the lateral wall, narrowest wall. Here lies the coracobrachialis and short head of the biceps brachii. And bicipital groove with its contents. What are the contents of bicipital groove? Very, very important viva and OSPI question. Tendon of long head of the biceps brachii along with the synovial sheath and the ascending branch of the anterior circumflex humeral artery. Okay. So, bicipital groove and these two muscles are forming the lateral wall. Now we go to the contents of the axilla. Contents also come as a long question. Okay, axilla is very, very important for long question. Axillary lymph nodes are very important long question, and these boundaries and content can also come as a long question. Okay. So, axillary content of the axilla are the axillary artery and its branches, axillary vein and its tributaries, infraclavicular part of the brachial plexus, axillary lymph nodes, axillary fat and connective tissue and axillary tail of breast. Okay. So, these are the contents. You can see this red one is the axillary artery and also you will get the its branches. This blue one is the axillary vein. Okay. You will also see the tributaries of the vein. For vein you use tributaries. Okay. And for artery we use branches. And these are the cords of brachial plexus, the yellow ones. Okay. These are again dividing into different branches. We have branches from these three cords, medial, lateral and posterior cord of the brachial plexus. And so infraclavicular part of brachial plexus we are getting here. Next we get the axillary lymph nodes. All these three structures we will see in our dissected part. Okay. Axillary lymph nodes. Lymph nodes are lymph nodes we have removed. They are merged with the fat. Okay. So axillary fat and connective tissue and lymph nodes, all these we have removed. And axillary tail of breast, it sometimes extends towards the axilla. Okay. See here. See, this is axillary artery. Okay, axillary artery extend from outer border of first rib up to the lower margin of teres major. Okay, divided by three parts into this pectoralis minor. This is axillary vein. Okay, and see the structures. See, in between the artery and the vein and in the middle superficial plane lying this medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm, this slender branch. Okay. And in between the artery and vein at a deeper plane lies this thick nerve. This is ulnar nerve. Okay. And here you can see this is medial root, this is lateral root. These two roots of the median nerve joining to form the median nerve and it is lying over the artery. Okay, this is median nerve. And see here, this is medial cutaneous nerve of the arm. Okay, this is also a branch from the medial cord of brachial plexus. It is lying medial to this vein, medial to the axillary vein lies this medial cutaneous nerve of the arm. Okay. And okay, and here is the lower subscapular nerve. Lower subscapular nerve will supply the subscapularis muscle lower part and the teres major muscle. And here you are getting the nerve to latissimus dorsi. This nerve we will see. Okay, nerve to latissimus dorsi supplying the latissimus dorsi muscle, also known as thoracodorsal nerve, and it is also accompanied by the thoracodorsal vessels. Okay, you can see here these are the vessels and nerve are lying together. And here plastered over the medial wall, here is one important nerve. It is actually upper subscapula lying in the posterior wall, and plastered over the medial wall in this region over the serratus anterior you will see the long thoracic nerve. Long thoracic nerve will supply the serratus anterior muscle. Okay. হ্যাঁ এটা মাইনর এটা মেজর, হ্যাঁ পয়েন্টিংটা ভুল আছে এখানে, হ্যাঁ এটা মেজর, মেজরের কাট পোর্শন। ওকে, আর এটা মাইনর। ওকে, হ্যাঁ উল্টো লেখা আছে ঠিক। Okay, so and along with the here in the lateral in the medial wall you will also see the lateral thoracic artery here. Okay, and from this brachial artery one important branch is the profunda brachii artery. Okay, profunda brachii artery along with the radial nerve will enter into the spiral groove. Here the radial nerve along with the profunda brachii vessels enter into the radial groove of the humerus. Okay, and here lies the axillary nerve, also a branch from the posterior cord. Axillary nerve along with the posterior circumflex humeral vessels. Okay, all these you will see in the dissected portion. So these are the summary of the boundary and contents. Axilla is also known as armpit. It is a pyramidal shaped space. Boundaries are it has a apex, also known as cervicoaxillary canal, lies between the clavicle, scapula and first rib. Base is formed by the fossa and skin. An anterior wall formed by the pectoralis major, clavipectoral fossa, pectoralis minor. And posterior wall is formed by the subscapularis, teres major, latissimus dorsal. Okay. Medial wall is formed by the upper four ribs, intercostal muscles and serratus anterior muscle, and lateral wall is formed by the coracobrachialis, biceps brachii and bicipital groove. So these are the different boundaries of the axilla, and here are the contents: axillary artery and its branches, axillary vein and its tributaries, infraclavicular part of brachial plexus, axillary lymph nodes and axillary fat. Okay, so these are the contents of the axilla. Next we will discuss some of the content in details. Okay, axillary artery is an important artery. So it is main supply to the upper limb. How it begins? It is continuation of the subclavian artery, where it is beginning at the outer border of first rib here. So this is first rib, from the outer border of first rib up to this lower margin of the teres major. Like this type of schematic diagram you practice, okay, for artery. This comes as a long question or short note. Axillary artery is very important. Okay. So it is continuation of the subclavian artery from outer border of the first rib. How it terminates? Continues as the brachial artery at the lower border of teres major. Below this level, this is brachial artery. Okay, so if you are holding here, this will be axillary artery. If the examiner is holding here, this will be brachial artery. You have to note this level, lower margin of the teres major muscle. Okay, understood? What is the course? It runs downward, forward and laterally with lateral convexity. This is how it is running. And in outstretched arm, axillary artery runs horizontally straight. Okay. If you abduct the arm at right angle, so artery will be longitudinally placed, the convexity will be removed. If you placed in anatomical position, you will see a convexity. Artery is coming like this, and if you place the arm like this, in our cadaver it is placed like this. Okay, so it is lying in a straight line. So here you can see this is the axillary artery. See its branches. This is first part, that is medial to pectoralis minor. First part branch is superior thoracic artery. From the second part, two branches, thoracoacromial, lateral thoracic. Okay, and from the third part, three branches, subscapular artery, also giving the circumflex scapular artery and the thoracodorsal artery, and here you get other two branches, anterior and posterior circumflex humeral artery. So part of the axillary artery, it is crossed anteriorly by pectoralis minor. Pectoralis minor divides the artery into three parts. First part lies proximal to the muscle, second part is lying posterior or deep to the muscle, and third part lies distal to the muscle. Okay. So to identify the axillary artery, you have to clean the lower part of the axilla, where third part of the artery is the largest content of the axilla, and artery lies inferomedial to the coracobrachialis, biceps brachii and the coracoid process. Okay, these relations you have to note during the cadaver. Attached to the humerus will be the muscle, biceps brachii, coracobrachialis. Next, anterior relation to the artery. Anterior wall of axilla except the pectoralis minor, pectoralis major, clavicular part, clavipectoral fossa, loop of communication between lateral and medial pectoral nerves. These are lying in anterior relation to the first part of the artery. You see this, these are not that much important. Okay, this is important, relations of the second part. Okay, we are naming the chords of brachial plexus according to their location in relation with this axillary artery second part. Okay, medial cord is lying medial to the axillary artery, lateral cord is lying lateral to the second part of axillary artery, and posterior cord is lying posterior to the second part of axillary artery. That part is important. Okay, branches are very important. Okay, branches you have seen from first part superior thoracic artery, second part thoracoacromial trunk gives these 4 branches. In yesterday you have seen this pectoral, acromial, clavicular, deltoid branch and lateral thoracic from second part. From third part 3 arteries, subscapular artery, anterior circumflex humeral, posterior circumflex humeral. Here you can see superior thoracic, thoracoacromial, lateral thoracic. Here is the subscapular, circumflex scapular and thoracodorsal, and anterior posterior circumflex humeral lying along the surgical neck of humerus. Okay, so these are the clinical aspect of the axillary artery. It can be felt against the shaft of humerus, which forms a lateral wall in the lower part of the axilla. Okay, here one point you have to put, axillary artery comes in your surface marking. Okay, so one point you have to put where the pulsation is located in the axilla. Compression of this axillary artery can be compressed against humerus to stop the blood supply against this humerus. Okay, in case of heavy bleeding or any injury distal to this axilla, you can tie a knot over here, over the axilla. An aneurysm of axillary artery. What is aneurysm? The wall of the vessel is very thin and vessels get dilated, mainly artery. Okay, artery wall is thicker than the vein, you have read. Okay, so if the wall of the artery is very thin, due to pressure of the blood, it get distended, and that part is known as aneurysm. Okay, so dilatation especially in the first part occurs and may compress the trunks of the brachial plexus. Okay, so branches has been shown here. Here aneurysm has been shown. See, this is first part lying proximal or medial to the pectoralis minor. Here the dilatation has occurred in the axillary artery, and it will also extend towards the second part and compress the cords of the brachial plexus. Next we go to the axillary vein. How it is formed? It is the major vein that drains the upper limb, and it is formed by union of basilic vein and the brachial vein at the lower border of the teres major. See here, this is basilic vein. Okay, we have 2 veins in the superficial fossa. Towards the lateral side there is cephalic vein. Cephalic vein you have seen yesterday, and towards the medial side there is basilic vein. Okay, so basilic vein is continuing upward and joining with the veni comitatus of this axillary artery and forming this axillary vein. Okay, so by union of basilic vein and brachial vein at the lower border of the teres major muscle, it is forming the axillary vein. So this marking is very important, lower border of the teres major. Axillary artery continues downward as brachial artery, and from here the basilic axillary vein is formed by joining of this basilic vein and the brachial vein. Okay. Brachial vein is formed by joining to veni comittantes of the brachial artery. Okay, understood? Veni comittantes mean two smaller vein lying on the two sides of the artery. Okay, this helps arterial pulses and helps in venous drainage. That's why the veins are lying like this. Okay, understood? What is the course? It passes through the axilla on the medial side of the axillary artery. So, this is the artery, this is vein. So, vein is medial, you always remember, okay. And if you get, there is many tributaries in this area, okay. We have cut some of the tributaries, and these tributaries will be the part of the veni comittantes or other supplying veins going to supply different muscles or like this, okay. So, you can get multiple, there is variations in the vein. So, course, it passes through the axilla on the medial side of axillary artery. Termination, it continues as the subclavian vein at the lateral border of first rib and leaves the axilla here. Like the artery was starting from here and vein is continuing as the subclavian vein from the outer border of the first rib. So, these landmarks are important, outer border of first rib, lower border of teres major. Okay. See here, two veni comittantes of brachial artery joining to form brachial vein, joining with the basilic vein to form axillary vein at the level of lower border of teres major, continuing upward and from outer border of first rib continuing as the subclavian vein. Okay, understood? And these veins, these are the tributaries of this axillary vein. The relation has been shown, axillary artery, axillary vein. And see here, this is profunda brachii artery, okay, main branch from the brachial artery. Profunda brachii artery along with some veins are lying. So, these are profunda brachii vessels, okay. These profunda brachii vessels will lie with the radial nerve in the spiral groove of humerus. Next we go to the tributaries of the axillary vein, cephalic vein, veins, yesterday you saw cephalic vein was growing to drain into axillary vein, okay. So, tributaries are the cephalic vein, veins accompanying the branches of axillary artery except the thoracoacromial trunk. Thoracoepigastric vein formed by anastomosis of the superficial veins from the inguinal region and tributaries of the axillary vein. Okay, so this vein has not been shown here. This is lying in the abdomen actually. From here it is coming and joining. Next we go to the axillary lymph nodes. This is very important long question, axillary lymph nodes. 20 to 30 lymph nodes that are scattered in the axilla, they are grouped in these 5 groups according to their location: anterior, posterior, lateral, central and apical. Okay. See here, anterior group lying in the anterior wall, also known as pectoral nodes. In the anterior wall we are getting the pectoral muscles, so these are also known as pectoral nodes. Posterior wall, here is the posterior or subscapular node. Subscapularis muscle is forming the posterior wall, so this is also known as subscapular nodes. A lateral nodes lying along the bicipital groove of humerus, that why humeral nodes, okay. And in this middle of this triangle, that means middle of the base of the axilla, here lies the central group, okay. And here near the apex of the axilla lies the apical group. Understood? So, here is the central group, this is the apical group. Apical group is also known as infraclavicular nodes. See here the locations. These are the anterior or pectoral nodes. These are the posterior or subscapular nodes. Here is the humeral or lateral nodes, this is central nodes, and this is apical or infraclavicular nodes. So, posterior or subscapular nodes, they lie along the posterior axillary fold along the subscapular vessels. Area of drainage lymph from the posterior body wall and scapular region. Lateral or humeral nodes, these are the lateral humeral nodes, lie along the lateral wall of the axilla medial to the axillary vein. An area of drainage, it receives lymph from the upper limb except the vessels accompanying the cephalic vein. Okay. Next, central nodes, it is situated in the fat near the base of the axilla deep to the pectoralis minor. An area of drainage is lymph from base of the axilla and all above the lymph nodes. That means anterior, posterior and lateral group drains into central group of lymph nodes, and from the central group it is going to apical group of lymph nodes. Okay. And from this is infraclavicular. So, from infraclavicular it will go to the supraclavicular group of lymph nodes. Like this, the lymphatic drainage occurs in this axilla. So, apical or infraclavicular nodes situated near the apex of the axilla along the axillary vessels, and lymph from the central nodes and upper part of breast directly from thumb by the lymphatic vessels accompanying the cephalic vein. These are draining into the apical nodes. Now, these are the clinical aspects of the axillary lymph nodes. Lymphadenopathy. Lymphadenopathy is enlargement of the lymph nodes. Axillary lymphadenopathy, it occurs due to infection of upper limb, breast or thoracic wall, and it may be due to spread of breast cancer. Palpation of axillary nodes, it is done if they are enlarged. Enlarged lymph nodes may become palpable and felt with the fingers. Palpation of axillary node is a part of clinical examination for carcinoma of the breast. Okay. Very frequently there will be palpable lymph nodes in carcinoma of breast. See here, one enlarged lymph node has been shown. So, malignancy or breast cancer or infection in tuberculosis or in some autoimmune diseases, there may be enlarged lymph node, increased size of axillary lymph node, axillary lymphadenopathy, and it may sometimes form abscess, localized collection of pus or oozing pus in the axilla. Okay. Axillary abscess may occur due to pus formation in the enlarged and infected axillary nodes, and drainage of axillary abscess, it is given by giving incision in the floor of the axilla midway between the anterior and posterior axillary wall near the medial wall to avoid injury to the major vessels. Okay. You have seen in the pictures, in the lateral wall, near the lateral wall, all the important axillary artery, vein, different nerves are lying, and near the medial wall only the long thoracic nerve is lying. Okay. So, we give the incision near the medial wall and in between anterior and posterior folds, because anterior fold there is important muscles, nerve, vessels are there, and posterior fold also important muscles are there. So, in the middle there is no important structure, no such important structure. So, that is why the incision is given in between the two folds. So, this can come as a explained why incision is given here. Okay. Okay, so this is a summarization of axillary lymph nodes. 20 to 30 nodes are there, 5 groups, location anterior group along the lateral thoracic vein and lateral border of pectoralis minor. Area of drainage is upper half of the trunk and breast. Posterior group of axillary lymph nodes lying along posterior axillary fold along the subscapular vessels, and area of drainage is posterior body wall and scapular region. Lateral group along the lateral wall of axilla, area of drainage is upper limb except the thumb. Central group lying in the floor of the axilla, and it drains, area of drainage from anterior, posterior and lateral nodes. Apical group lies near the apex of axilla, from the central node and thumb it is getting drainage. Okay. And clinical intrigation, there is axillary lymphadenopathy, palpation of axillary nodes in CA breast and axillary abscess. Okay, so for dissection of axilla, you have to give this incision. One incision extending from the level of fourth costal cartilage up to the posterior axillary fold. Second incision joining the anterior and posterior axillary fold at the level of junction of upper 1/4 and lower 3/4 of the arm. And third incision is joining along the anterior axillary fold. So, we are giving first incision, second incision and third incision, and we will reflect the skin flaps downward and laterally. Okay. So, after the skin you will get the superficial fossa. Within the superficial fossa you will get the cutaneous nerves. Okay. So, and within the superficial fossa also you will get some pad of fat. Okay. So, that has been reflected. After that you will see the deep fossa. Deep fossa is known as axillary fossa. Okay. All that has been reflected together. Okay. Up to the deep fossa. Then you will get the different walls of the axilla. Anterior wall is formed by the pectoralis major, minor, okay, like clavipectoral fossa, subclavius. Posterior wall is formed by the subscapularis, teres major, latissimus dorsi. Lateral wall is formed by the biceps brachii, coracobrachialis and bicipital group, intertuberculus sulcus. Okay. Medial wall is formed by the four ribs, intercostal spaces and intercostal muscles and the serratus anterior muscle. Okay. And over the serratus anterior muscle will be plastered the long thoracic nerve. Okay. See, this is schematic diagram: apex of axilla, base of axilla, medial wall, lateral wall, anterior wall, posterior wall. Okay. And after seeing the boundary, you will see the content. Within the content, along the lateral wall, you see the axillary artery. Okay, you see the diagram. See, like this you will see. Okay. So, you will see one artery, that is axillary artery. Medial to the arteries, you carefully listen, note it down. How you will see, identify the nerves. So many nerves are there. So, this is axillary, you will see one artery. It will have a lumen, wall is thick. That is how you identify artery. Okay. So, this is axillary artery. Medial to the artery is axillary vein. Okay. Vein is very thin wall, bluish in discoloration. Okay. And lumen is very large. Okay. You can palpate it. So, axillary vein. So, in between the artery and vein, these points you note down. In between the artery and vein, in the superficial plane, you will get the medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm. Write it down. In between the axillary artery, what you will see? You write down first point 1 axillary artery. Everyone write it down. I will not repeat. Write it down. So, first you will see the axillary artery. Okay. Next point is axillary vein. Axillary vein lying medial to the artery. Okay. Next you write down medial cutaneous nerve of the arm. Medial cutaneous nerve of arm, this one, lying medial to the vein. You can see medial to the vein is the medial cutaneous nerve of the arm. You have written medial cutaneous nerve of arm lying medial to the vein. Next you write down medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm. Here, This thin branch is the medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm, lying between artery and vein in a superficial plane. Medial cutaneous nerve of forearm, lying between the artery and vein in a superficial plane. You have written medial cutaneous nerve of forearm lying between artery and vein in the superficial plane. Okay, next you write ulnar nerve. Ulnar nerve lying between artery and vein at a deeper plane. Lying between artery and vein at a deeper plane. You have completed. Okay, next you write down radial nerve. Radial nerve lying posteriorly, entering the spiral groove along with profunda brachii vessels. Lying posteriorly, entering the spiral groove, along with profunda brachii vessels. Here, profunda brachii vessels, this is radial nerve. Profunda brachii vessels, you have written. Next you write down axillary nerve. Axillary nerve, a branch from posterior cord, of brachial plexus, lying posterior to surgical neck of humerus. Posterior to surgical neck of humerus, lying posterior to surgical neck of humerus along with posterior circumflex humeral vessels. Along with posterior circumflex humeral vessels. Next you write down median nerve. Median, M-E-D-I-A-N. Median nerve, see this thick nerve. It is formed by joining of medial and lateral root. It is formed by joining of medial and lateral root and lying over the artery, lying over the axillary artery. Next you write down musculocutaneous nerve. Musculocutaneous nerve. It is piercing the coracobrachialis muscle cutaneous, musculocutaneous nerve. It is piercing the coracobrachialis muscle. Okay, anything left? Okay, next you write down upper subscapular nerve. Upper subscapular nerve lying in the upper part of subscapularis. lying in the upper part of subscapularis muscle. Lower subscapular nerve, lower subscapular nerve supplying the lower part of the subscapularis and teres major muscle. Supplying, it is lying over there, it will enter the muscle, teres major. It will supplying the subscapularis and teres major. Lower subscapular nerve supplying the subscapularis and teres major muscle. Okay, next is you write down nerve to latissimus dorsi or thoracodorsal nerve. Nerve to latissimus dorsi or thoracodorsal nerve. Thoracodorsal. Okay, it will supply the latissimus dorsi. Supplying the latissimus dorsi muscle. Nerve to latissimus dorsi or thoracodorsal nerve supplying the latissimus dorsi muscle. Okay, everyone completed? Okay, after that long thoracic nerve. All of this you have to see there also. Okay, upper and lower subscapular you will not see, rest of you will see there. Long thoracic nerve, that's why I am telling you to write down and remember the points. Okay. Okay, so long thoracic nerve you write down. Long, it is lying over the serratus anterior muscle. Huh? C8 and T1 is root value. Okay, long thoracic nerve, everyone has written lying over the serratus anterior muscle. Serratus anterior muscle. Okay, another nerve sometimes present, intercostobrachial nerve. Intercostobrachial nerve. It is a branch from second intercostal nerve. Intercostobrachial nerve, you have written it is a branch from second intercostal nerve. Okay, understood? So all these nerves you have to see. Okay, so we have three cords, medial cord, lateral cord and posterior cord. From the lateral cord there are three branches, LML. Okay, lateral pectoral nerve, M is the musculocutaneous nerve and lateral root of median nerve. We have discussed all the three, and from the M medial cord it has 5 branches. You can remember like M4U. Okay, 5 name is starting with M and another is ulnar nerve. Ulnar nerve, medial root of median nerve, medial cutaneous nerve of arm, medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm. Okay, and median nerve, and U is the ulnar nerve. Okay, so these are the branches from the medial cord, and from the posterior cord you can remember like it has 5 branches, ultra, upper subscapular, lower subscapular, T is the thoracodorsal, radial nerve and axillary nerve. So all that nerve you have to see, and I have told you to write down all those points, how you will identify those things. Okay, which one? Ultra, from the posterior cord, these are mnemonics. LML, lateral pectoral nerve, lateral root of median nerve and musculocutaneous nerve. Okay, understood?